Welcome to Test Daily Podcast. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. And thank you guys for subscribing. We're blessed enough to have Large Marge and Snowman from the Paranormal Trucker podcast.
Hello.
How are you all doing tonight?
No, we're doing good.
Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous.
And you guys, what kind of episodes do you guys have upcoming? Like what topics and stuff?
Well, myself and PT, we've been talking about these books that we've listened to, about the Secret Space Force, and he's finally getting into the second book. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. But we actually got hard copies of the first book, so we can actually go into it a little more in depth and do a little research on some of the stuff that they had talked about. Very interesting books. They're written by Michael Sala, and with some of the stuff he wrote the books on this Corey Good, and the second one was on William Tompkins, but he did enough research and put enough information in that those books, they at first they sound, okay, this bunch of horse, hockey or whatever, and but he puts enough corroborating it that you sit there and think, this could be true. So it's they're interesting.
And I got a deck of tarot cards. I actually used to play around with them a long time ago, and so I just got me a new deck, and we're going to talk about those, and I'm going to do a reading for PT.
Yeah.
I know you guys was talking about having a person that does the reading on possibly in the future.
Yeah, he's I think he's contacted someone, but they haven't got back with him, or they haven't ironed out a date when they can actually come on. But
In the meantime, he has to have me. Voodoo Marge.
Yeah.
Lord Voodoo Marge.
That's gonna be some interesting. That's gonna be interesting to see for sure, man. And I'm sure a lot of people will be creeped out by it, including probably PT.
Well, we love talking about things that you have to be open-minded to listen to and to accept. So I love that.
Yeah, but maybe some of the cards though that maybe it has a future on it, or that might scare him a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully not.
Let's hope not.
Hopefully not.
Yeah,
see, and
hopefully not. Yeah,
I'm a big believer. I think there's a Bigfoot. I think there's UFOs. I think there's ghosts. But the tarot cards, I'm thinking that's hooey.
I agree.
So I'm hoping she's going to prove me wrong here, and
well, I'm gonna try.
And it's because I'm interested in learning.
Yeah, I agree. There was actually I got a reading back in the day when I was like 15 or something through a like a live streaming thing called Periscope, and it said something about God's light or something like that, and it was some scary stuff. That's why I'm saying anything in them tarot cards is gonna scare the shit out of you.
No, I think it's the way it's read. And there's different type of tarot cards. Like I actually have a deck of angel cards, they call them, but you do them just like tarot cards. So it's like being hypnotized. You can only enjoy it if you really believe it. Like they say that you can't be hypnotized if you don't enjoy it, if you're not really believing in it. And it's the same way with tarot cards. It's out there, but you have to be open minded. But a lot of people swear by it.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm gonna be open minded about it. I never went to
Like they don't tell you what day you're gonna die or nothing like that. It's not stuff like that.
Am I gonna be a millionaire this day?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't tell you stuff like that.
Now that would make me a believer. I got some lottery tickets. You read it, and it's gonna say you're gonna win a lottery, and I do.
Oh, that'd be nice. You see that background you're looking at there?
Yeah,
I'd have me a house right there on your background.
me too. Me too. Definitely beats the cold weather here in Kentucky.
Yeah,
And
No doubt.
speaking of Kentucky, I know that your family is actually originally from Kentucky. Actually, one of the creators of Kentucky, pretty much, even more
Yes,
than Daniel Boone, in my opinion.
yes.
You want to talk about
Well,
that?
um, recently I got one of those ancestry tests, and I always knew that I had Native American blood, and I wanted to find out what percentage, or how deep it was. So I got an ancestry test. Well, with that, I did find out I was Native American, but I also found out a lot of stuff I didn't want to know, like that my father wasn't really my biological father. So there's a sperm donor that would be the donator for me. I call him the sperm donor. That's how I call him. But anyway, um, with that, I found out that I am Daniel Boone's fifth time great niece. Daniel Boone's brother, Israel Boone, is my five-time grandfather. But Daniel Boone had 17 siblings. So there's a big ass family. But ironically, finding out about Daniel Boone, knowing that he came through the Appalachian Trail and he came up and had a settlement, Boonesboro. He's in these mountains all over. And at the same time, my other five times grandfather, Chief Redbird, is running these mountains. And he's fighting the pioneers, which I've got on the other side of me. So it's really ironic. It's really interesting. I love history. And then of course Chief Redbird, um, if you're from the Eastern Kentucky area, you're familiar with it. But if maybe you're outside the area, there's a town, there's a school, there's a hospital, there's a river. All this is named after Chief Redbird. And the actual river is named after him because he was massacred there. And they said the water ran red. So they named the river Redbird River. And it is in the Hyden area of Eastern Kentucky. And but anyway, his son was Golden Hawk Sizemore, George Golden Hawk Sizemore from McGoffin County. And he's the character that I'm kind of one of my favorites in my line that I found. He is noted to have had 54 to 57 children. They can't get an exact count. They got him for bigamy with three different women. Um, he was quite the character. When he went to court to face bigamy charges, he told the judge, he said, "Well, if I was as good looking as you, I'd have six times more wives." So he was quite the character. But anyway, they actually have a statue of him in Sayersville, um, in which is the capital of McGoffin County, and he is noted as the father of McGoffin County. So anyone that lives down here in Eastern Kentucky, if you are a Sizemore, any way, shape, or form, we are related. They said if every ancestor of his donated $1, they could build a monument as big as the Washington Monument for him. So that's very interesting. But he was a Cherokee, and actually, my grandparents, my mom's parents, were both a direct line from him. They were second cousins. So I have his bloodline coming in both ways. And then I have another grandmother that was Blackfoot, a Cherokee Blackfoot, which there is actually such a thing instead of just Blackfoot or just Cherokee. So that is my story. What questions do you have for me?
Actually, there's one particular story that actually just happened in the past few months. Somebody was watching the podcast that was originally here from Knott County and actually found you on Facebook and stuff and added you. And funny thing is, you guys were related. That's crazy. If you want to tell
We
people
are.
about that story.
We're cousins, and you're right. She found me on Facebook, and then she private messaged me, and we kind of talked about our lineage and that how we came into it, and yeah, everywhere in Eastern Kentucky, if you everybody knows the story down here, and there's so many people that are related down here. I'd hate to get an exact count. It would be crazy. They actually have
Absolutely.
a Facebook page. The
What's that?
descendants of, yeah, there's a Facebook page, the descendants of Golden Hawk Sizemore. Yeah, and there's
Absolutely.
one for Chief Redbird also. That I'm on both of them.
And Daniel Boone.
And oh, and with Daniel Boone, I also got to be a daughter of the Revolutionary War because his father, Squire Boone, fought in the Revolutionary War. So that brought a lot. That I don't know if I recommend getting an ancestry test or not. I had some bad that came out of it, but
Yeah, some good things.
I had some good too. Yeah.
Yeah, she found two sisters that are fantastic.
Yeah, I was raised an only child, and my mom and dad raised me, and I lost my dad a few years back, and nobody ever knew, nobody ever told. And then when I had the test done, I found out that I actually have a different biological father, and now I have three sisters and two brothers. So
Uh,
at 58 years old, I found this out.
wow, that's
It was
a
rough.
that's a very interesting story. I mean that's honestly I couldn't imagine that.
It
Definitely,
was rough.
for sure. And
Well,
just
are you close with your dad?
absolutely, yeah,
Imagine. Imagine all of a sudden one day they said, well, he's not really your biological father. And see, people don't understand that. People would say to me, well, he raised you. He's really your father. And that used to make me so angry because it was like, you don't understand. His blood isn't running through me now. And that's something that you just can't explain. It's hard.
absolutely. And I feel like people should not be celebrating. I mean, we should definitely celebrate Thanksgiving next Thursday, but let's not forget it's also Native American Heritage Day and Native American Heritage Month.
Yes, it is.
Yes. And I don't understand the not celebrating. You know, when they first came over, you know, the Native Americans showed the Europeans how to survive. They worked
Yes, they did.
they worked with it, you
Yes, they
know,
did.
and that's what Thanksgiving's for, is because they had a celebration because they were, you know, they helped each other. And you know, people just they're just losing their mind over silly stuff anymore. And I don't understand it. You know,
Yeah,
it's just like, you know, what are they going to do when they run out of holidays and statues to tear down? You know, I really don't understand that.
guess we won't have holidays.
I
That'd
guess.
be horrible. But it is Native American Heritage Month. And I'll tell you a little bit that I know about the actual Cherokee people. I am a member of the Mountain Laurel tribe in Eastern Kentucky. And I will tell you that the Cherokee were known as the educated Native Americans and the Christian Native Americans. Cherokee typically weren't the fighters. They weren't like the Southwest tribes, the Apache and Lakota. They were more of they were more educated and wanted more harmony and peace with the earth and the settlers. And they, they tried to do the best they could, of course, till the Trail of Tears, and which was a horrible thing that happened. But there's 7 clan of the Cherokee tribes, and I know I should have looked this up so I could tell you what they are, but they're typically named after an animal. There's like my family is of the bird clan, so I have Golden Hawk Sizemore, I have Chief Redbird. Redbird's dad was Big Eagle, so they're all bird names. So there's 7 different clans. There's the Bear clan, the Wolf clan, and there's 7 different clans. And each family is a clan. What else? Let's see. Oh, they were the first Native Americans to adopt an alphabet and a writing system. I'm trying to, I'll think of his name in a minute, who it was. Not Tecumseh. Anyway, I'll think of his name. But they had the first official writing, and they still use it to this day. The Cherokee do.
That's awesome.
So I'm very proud. I'm very proud to be a Cherokee.
Absolutely. I definitely need to do a ancestry test and see how much native I got in me, because I think my the people have said that my grandpa was half. So
Well, you need to have it done because you just never know.
yeah, be part of the Cherokee, and because
Yeah.
that's what I'm supposedly is Cherokee.
Well, you get that, and you get that because when you want to join a tribe or whatever, you got to have some type of proof of lineage, and they use the ancestry, so that'll be good.
And for people
Yeah,
that want, what's that?
I was just going to tell you a funny story. Marge is a really good artist, and she started painting this horse, and kind of got writer's block, I guess. And the horse just sat there for what, 6 months or longer.
A year.
Yeah, and
I just sat and looked at it.
She couldn't figure out what to do with it, and as soon as she found out that she was Cherokee and got the proof and they accepted her in the tribe, it was like the block went away, and she finished that painting, and it is my favorite. And I'm gonna take it off the wall and show it to you. It's pretty cool.
Oh
Absolutely.
Lord, he's embarrassing me now.
I'm sorry. Can you see it?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you know, and
The detail.
it's probably not showing up on screen as well as, I mean, in person. It's a stunning painting.
Wow.
But,
That's insane. That's fantastic. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Like I said, after she found out,
Ghost.
the war paint went on, the feathers, and it just set it off. And she did
Wow.
that, what, in a day or less
Yeah,
than a day?
it looked up a little bit.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, I probably finished it in a day.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank you.
but it is my
Thank you.
absolute favorite. She's got a lot of paintings hanging in the house.
It's a stress reliever.
Yeah, definitely need that during COVID and stuff going on.
I know, right?
Well, I think when I moved in, she painted a real big one. So she must have had a lot of stress.
No, I did paint a great big one when he
did.
moved in.
And it's a nice one as well. I think that one's probably my second favorite.
Absolutely, man. That's
the whole-
awesome though.
Thank you.
And how much percentage do you have to be of Native American descent to join the tribe? For
None.
people out there.
Just one drop.
Wow.
The native people believe that one drop is equal to full blood, because that way you're all part of the family.
Yeah, and I was always told that my mother had Blackfoot blood in her. I've never done a test to find out.
I keep trying to get him to do one. He won't do one,
I'm
especially after mine.
I'm afraid what kind of dark secrets it's going to bring out. I just seem not know.
Oh man. But yeah, I definitely could understand that. But so what you're saying is the only person that couldn't join the tribe is Elizabeth Warren.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother story right there.
Yeah.
She's a trip, isn't she?
Yeah, I thought that was so funny though. After she did her test and then come back, well, somebody in your past might have slept with an Indian.
Yeah, so maybe. Might have.
She wasn't even 1%, was she?
No, I don't think so.
No,
it was funny.
So.
I think it said the average European American like descent has like normally like 2% of native blood in them.
Well, they said on Ancestry it's kind of hard to detect, because if you look at Hawaiianers, is that a word?
No, it's Polynesian.
Polynesian, or Eskimos. You look at different other native peoples, and they have the same. I guess they have the same like chromosome, so it's hard to determine from, and then it's hard to determine the amount, because it doesn't show up the same in everybody. I don't know. It's just very complicated.
If you kind of look at the people, some of the South American people, Mexicans, Native Americans, the Inuit up in the north, they all have kind of the same features. Their heads and they're all kind of, they're shaped, not like the Europeans. Let's put it that way. So to me that makes sense that maybe thousands of years ago they traveled across a land bridge between Europe and here, and just kept going until they ran out of land. That's why you look at those people and they all kind of resemble each other a little bit.
Well, when I was in Mexico, I went on a tour and we had a Mayan tour guide that was explaining different things to us about the Mayan people, and their DNA matches Eskimos. So at some point in history, some Eskimos got tired of being froze to death, and they climbed in a little boat and they went straight south down till they hit Mexico, and then that's when they got to that area. But see, there's another thing. You've got these Mayans that have the same DNA as Eskimos. So it's hard. Native blood and percentages are hard to determine.
Yeah.
And yeah, look at the United States, especially in Eastern Kentucky here, because there was I'd say a great population of Native American peoples in this area.
Yeah, this area down through Tennessee,
Yes.
North Carolina, probably in Virginia. There was just because it's just like us, when people came into Eastern Kentucky, they stayed here because it reminded them of home, where they came from. So that's where our population has come from.
The Scott Irish.
Yes, they were here already, and they just kind of hung in their own little area, you know. And it's just, you know, and it was sad that they got pushed out.
My grandma
You know.
told me stories of my ancestors hiding in caves
Gilbert, baby.
to keep from being herded
No.
together for the Trail of Tears.
Ghost is making his appearance here.
We got a big-headed dog that's in the cave. Where's your big head?
All right, buddy.
Yeah, man, that's definitely one of the most saddest things is
It
what
is sad.
the Europeans did to the natives.
Yeah,
It is sad.
it is because, you know, they were a little more technologically advanced. You know, they had firearms, things like that, and you know, instead of coming in and saying, okay, you know, can we live here or whatever? They said, no, get the hell out. We're here now. This is ours. You know, and that wasn't right.
No, it wasn't right.
That wasn't
No.
right. You know, and they shoved. Well, Trail of
They
Tears,
brought all the
they
disease
brought
over.
brought the disease because you know they were used to the diseases they had in Europe, and then everything, you know, they pushed like Native Americans that lived in our area. They sent them out west. You know how, you know, you're
They had to walk it.
and yeah, and they had to walk
It
it,
was
and
horrible.
that was terrible because you know you're sending these people that know how to live here, and then you're sending them out west, out into the desert or wherever that you don't, you know, you want to hem them up, and now they got to learn how to live again, you know, and that's just that's just not right. I'm sorry, they, you know, we treated them bad.
And you know, here's another little known fact that when the Europeans came in and they put the natives on the reservations, they took their children and sent them off to schools to westernize them. And some of these children, I mean, they'd take them for the year and bring them back. And see, a lot of people don't know about the way they were treated on the reservations.
Yeah, they, you know,
They sent them to boarding schools to teach them how to be Western.
yes, and you know, and for the most part, the Cherokee probably adapted better than most. You know, um, they learned the white man's ways, and it, but there again, they still got, you know, treated like second or third class citizens, and you know, shoved them off their land, and that's just not right.
No, it wasn't right. It was horrible. I can't imagine what they had to go through.
No,
My daughter asked my grandma one time. She said, "Mama, tell me about being an Indian. Are you really an Indian?" And my grandma said, "I have to be an Indian because no white woman could have lived through what I've been through."
Wow, that, I mean that's definitely true.
Rough life.
Yep.
you know,
The natives definitely have been through a lot, and honestly continue to go through a lot. There's a lot of stuff that is going on that I can't talk about because of censorship and stuff.
yeah. Well, and you know, there again, I don't know the internal politics or whatever, but you know, a lot of your casinos are owned by the Native Americans.
Yes, they
You know,
are.
and you know, hopefully they're using the money they make off of them to
And
better
they
the
are.
life of their people. You know,
And they are.
um, you know, I know on the reservations they're supposed to be able to govern themselves, but you know, I'm sure there's a lot of, uh, you know, a lot of government. Uh,
You know our government ain't,
they can't keep their
gonna
hands
let
out
them
of
govern
yeah,
themselves.
yeah.
That's one of the many broken promises they were given.
Our government is definitely in control of everything. We don't have the people definitely do not have the same power as the government.
No.
No.
And there again, I always said before, and now it's even more true. I think the politicians that we have in there, they need to put them in Washington, take a big ass chainsaw and cut Washington D.C. out, shove it out into the ocean, and dare them to come back. And we need to start over.
I agree.
It's just
Term limits.
Exactly.
We need term
We
limits.
need term limits bad. I mean, there again, I can't. Hal Rogers. I voted for him every time I've been able to vote because he does things for Eastern Kentucky. There's a lot
And he
of
does. He's
now
done a lot.
I don't know his personal stuff. I don't know what he's got out of being in government, but he does a lot for Eastern Kentucky.
He does.
My buddy's running against him for the Republican nominee.
Yeah.
I know you guys talked about having him on before. That would definitely be a good interview.
Yeah. Yeah, we try to stay out of the politics. I mean, we have rants every now and then. I get tore up. PT gets tore up.
Not me.
Marsh tries to
stay out of it.
She tries to stay out of it, but
I don't get involved in it.
It's just things.
Matter of fact, I go into a coma.
Yeah.
I'm like, just wake me up when you're done talking politics because I don't want to hear it and I don't want to.
And it's just we, like I said, we get off on a rant every now and then, and we try not to do that, but it's it happens.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely there's a lot of stuff going on in this country that makes you pissed off.
Yeah, well, it's just like I said, I don't want to go into it, but
speaking,
let's just say the last what are we in now 11 months have been. I would never thought our country would be in the shape it's in right now.
Absolutely.
And get that way so fast.
Yeah. Socialism, that's best, as they say.
Yes.
But speaking of this hat right here is actually from a Bigfoot organization they sent me. It's called We Are Legends. We Are Legends Hunter. We Are Legend Hunters. My bad. That's what it says on the hat. We Are Legend Hunters. I just got it, and I definitely appreciate them sending me the hat. And shout out to David Mills. He's a great Bigfoot researcher. But speaking of Bigfoot, the Native Americans was actually the first people to speak of seeing Bigfoot.
Yes. It's a big part of their history. And even to make the kids behave.
Yes.
There's a smaller one that they used to kind of threaten the kids with.
Yeah, and I actually read a story, an article.
The grass man, they call it.
This has been a few years. This has been a few years ago. That and I'm trying to remember where, and I think it was out west. But the Native Americans would not let their women or children out at night by themselves because they were afraid that they were going to be abducted by the Bigfoot. And I just thought that was interesting. I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know how that worked, but oh well, But that was an interesting art.
Absolutely, that's insane though, man. That Bigfoot, like literally, like known for showing itself more to the Native Americans than any other people, really. Because if you speak to these investigators and stuff, they've never even seen Bigfoot. All they've heard is a knock and a growl and a scream and all that.
Oh yes, and PT sent me a TikTok video that was supposedly taken over here in Letcher County, and go around. Oh my lordy! And
come here, bud.
But they had taken this video and you could hear something in the background hollering or yelling, and it didn't sound like a person, didn't sound like an animal, and they were wondering what it. Now, whether that was fake or whether it sounded real, but there again, without somebody saying, that's what it is, I'm gonna leave it open as they could have faked it. They could have got Bubba up a holler and said, "Go burn the hell a little bit, and this is when we make a Bigfoot video." So, I don't know, but right now I'm gonna lean more towards. I'd never heard anything like that, and it was interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, people need to check that out. Who posted that? What was their TikTok name?
I don't remember. I might be able to look it up here and see if I can find it. But like I said, it was a very interesting video, and it's only just a few seconds. Uh, no, I don't see it now. Um, oh, here it is. It was posted by the Hillbillies.
Wow, that's
It,
insane, though, man.
it's a crazy video, and he sent another one to me there of a and can't remember the Bigfoot investigator's name, but it was an interview with a guy that was in the military and they had rolled up on 5 of them, and they charged their anti-personnel carrier, and they opened up on them and killed them. And they said after that the officers kind of shoot them off, and nothing was ever said about it. Made them sign disclosure, non-disclosure notice or forms and all this. Get over and lay down. Good Lord. And but
He's trying to be a podcast star.
yes.
We might get more views than all the podcasts out there.
Maybe.
Well, when he came to stay, he was his name was Diesel, and we didn't know, but he has a white patch on his chest. And her cousin came to stay with us, and we said we wanted to name him something else. And he has a white patch on his chest that looks like a ghost. Looks like a ghost. And he's got arms and legs and a head, and so we called him Ghost. And if you let him out at night, he disappears. Can't see.
Disappears like a Casper.
Oh my gosh. He just blends right into the dark. You never see him.
But yeah, you guys have a show every Sunday, a very good podcast. One of the best podcasts out there. Everybody should listen to every Sunday on YouTube. It's on Anchor as well, right?
It is. We've got some computer issues right now, so there's only like 5 episodes on Anchor. I think we're up to 11 or 12 now. As soon as I get my computer lined out, I'm going to put the rest of the episodes on. Because we've had, for PT lives in Pikeville and we live in Hazard. That's a 70-mile trip, and he doesn't have. I don't know. He didn't know how to work the Anchor, and I got on there and played with it one day and figured it out and got him on there. So I usually have to get the recordings off of him and then post them. But my computer went down, and so here we are.
You need to come over, and everybody needs to come over and listen to us. We talk about some really interesting subject matter.
Yes.
Things that, like I said earlier, you have to be open-minded to really get into it. But informative, a lot of information.
Yes, and like I said, we've been kind of going on over these books. Got them on Audible and listened to them, and they, like I said, I was just wanting to listen to them, see what they were about. But like I said, after I listened to the first one, I was hooked. There's just so much information put in there that it for me it's plausible, the stuff that they talk about in this book. And
We talk about ghosts
and we
and ghost hunting stuff, and
mhm,
we talk about all
UFOs,
kinds of stuff.
um,
UFOs,
Bigfoot,
Bigfoot.
you know, anything. You know, matter of fact, something was brought up there. Uh, we were going to try to do a Halloween episode, and it kind of went south pretty quick. So
Yeah.
that'll never see the light of day. But
No.
an interesting topic was brought up. Was
It included some liquor.
yeah, Jim Beam made us stop by, and it was bad.
Jim
You
Beam
know,
stopped by, and it was bad.
it went bad. So that'll never see the light of day. But one of the topics that came up, we were talking about cryptids, and there's a thing called knot deer, and I had never heard of it. And supposedly these deer are, and it's mostly in the western part of Virginia is where they see it, but they'll walk on their hind legs, real jerky motions, things like that. You know, the scientists are trying to say they got some kind of brain disease, but you know, who knows? You know,
What's it called?
It's called knot deer.
Not deer.
Knot deer.
Huh.
And I'd never heard of it. And I actually looked it up, and there's some stuff on it on the internet.
Wow. Is there researchers for that out there as well?
Well, I don't know if there's researchers, but they say the scientists think that they have a brain disease that causes them to act that way. But they said some of the sightings that they have hands instead of hooves.
Wow.
You know, maybe that's a little far fetched, you know, but I could probably see a deer walking on his hind
Yeah.
Well, they fight that way.
legs. They do fight that way.
Especially if you get in somebody's moonshine.
Yeah. That too.
Yes. That could be all bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we our Halloween episode proved that.
I know, right? The Halloween episode. Oh boy,
Yeah.
that was bad.
It started out pretty good, but it went downhill.
It went downhill fast.
Oh, but you know, we just
But we have a great podcast, and we want people to come over and listen.
and
We get listeners and followers.
we also have
Talk about some interesting stuff.
a contest going right now.
Yes.
Just any kind of paranormal. At first we were going to do it ended on Halloween, but you know, we were just getting started out, really didn't get a whole lot of emails. So, you know, send us in your stories, Bigfoot, UFOs, ghosts, whatever. We're going to read them and pick the 3 best, okay? The third place gets the keychain. Second place gets a hat and a keychain. And third place gets a $100 gift card to Walmart or Amazon, whichever one they want.
What's the email for people to send that to?
The email is the paranormal trucker at yahoo.com. I think it's paranormal trucker at yahoo.com. And or they can, you know, they can comment on the YouTube channel if they would like. You know,
They'll be in the description.
Yes. And you know, so we're, like I said, we're on YouTube, somewhat on Anchor and Spotify. We're trying to work through some issues and get everything caught up on there.
Yeah, I'm on Anchor as well, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. I mean, it's okay. I got sponsored on there and stuff. Like I can run ads and all that, but
Yes.
I mean, I guess you need it, but it's not my favorite. YouTube and there's a thing called Patreon where people can pay you $1 a month for exclusive content.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's what I told PT when we was laughing about that. He goes, "Yeah, so we'll never see the light of day." I said, "Well, we need to maybe get clips of the Halloween episode, and if we start a Patreon, we'll put snippets of that on there." I said that's the only way that stuff can get out.
You can't get banned on there. That's one of the things.
Fun.
You can't get banned on Patreon. That's one of the good things about it. You can't.
Uh-huh. Well, it's well, like I said, we try not to be too political, you know, and you know,
Some of us
can't help it. So we'll just say some of us can't help it. And, but we try to have fun, talk about things that are interesting, and we would love to have some more emails, your participation. Pull your stories out there. We're not gonna make fun of nobody. Well, we might make fun of somebody, but we're not. I mean, it's not me. Because we're here to. I love to hear stories like that, especially if something happened to somebody or they saw something. I want to hear it. And because I just think that stuff's interesting too.
Have you heard about the Dogman stories? That's interesting. I've had the biggest Dogman researcher out there on my podcast.
Oh, really?
Who's been on
See,
Discovery?
I don't know if I've ever heard of the Dogman.
I don't think I have either.
It's like a werewolf, half man and half dog.
Okay, well, I was getting ready to say that sounds like a werewolf story to me.
They just call it the Dogman.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not a big horror fan, but now if you give me a good werewolf story or a good vampire story, hey, I'm there. I'll watch it.
Definitely. You should check out my interview with a guy that from the UK who got abducted by aliens and all that for years, and actually has like sickness from it, and was in like a war with fighting for the aliens or with aliens, or fighting against some aliens with aliens. I forget the story because he wrote books and stuff, and he talked about in the interview. That's been like a month ago, so I kind of forgot exactly the full story. But that interview, that guy's been on BBC and everything. I forget his. I do so many interviews.
Yeah, I understand.
His last name's Kellett. He's from the UK.
See, and I've heard, and I think it's when I had the Guy TV or subscribed to it there for a little while, and like the books that I was talking about, Corey Good supposedly was in the Secret Space Force. Well, that's where I heard about that, and then they were actually talking to another gentleman, and it's kind of similar to what you were talking about, that he actually went to a couple of other planets and fought wars.
It's very interesting for sure.
It was interesting, like I said, I'm gonna keep an open mind when somebody says, yeah, he's a nut, or yeah, that really happened. I'll give him benefit of the doubt.
And I got some big news. Actually, I'll announce it tonight. On the anniversary of the CSX crash that happened with the UFOs, I got a very special interview. I will announce one of the people that's going to be on is Junebug, who has done an investigation and like a documentary on the crash and went to the site like 7 years later. He'll be on that. But we might have somebody that actually works for a certain company.
No, well, that would be
that would be really great,
because that when we had first talked about that, I actually got on Google and looked in the area and found where I think it happened, because with the descriptions they gave and all that, everything matched up, and got to looking, and right across from where this would have taken place, there's a house sitting on the other side of the river.
Wow.
When it warms up, we're thinking we're going to go down there and find the house, not going to see if anybody that, when this was supposed to happen, lived there, that, see if they heard anything, remembered anything. I just think it would be interesting.
Wow. Yeah, man, definitely. That's going to be a big interview. I'm going to do it on the anniversary of that, exactly when it happened. That's going to be that interview is going to be insane, man. Definitely excited about that. I mean, there's big stuff
for you.
Yeah, I
definitely appreciate that.
Can't wait to watch it.
It's gonna be interesting for sure. I can't believe that I got actually. I'm not gonna spill the beans.
No, keep say that. But and that was something else that they took everything to Paintsville, but now like their major engine shops or whatever, is in Huntington, West Virginia. I'm sure there's a mechanic or a welder or somebody that could verify, you know, that might be able to tell us what they saw, what kind of damage was done. So, that because, unless the government just swooped in, picked it up, took it off somewhere else, and they didn't get it back, I'd be very interested to see if they repaired it and put it back in service.
Absolutely. You guys don't live too far from me, man. Definitely, someday we should meet up and go ghost hunting or something.
Well,
Ooh, I'm so into that. I want to do that.
We would like to do that.
We got our little equipment we bought.
Yeah, we bought some equipment. We was wanting to go on the ghost hunt with the Spooky family, and that's when we got Ghost. And he was a little bit wild, and so we was afraid to leave him here with his new brothers, because we didn't know how he was going to react. We had just got him like the day before. So that kind of put the kibosh on it, and we weren't able to go. And from some of the stuff that I saw off of their little videos and things that they did, I would have loved to have been there.
I can't wait to go on another one.
So hopefully they'll
invite us back.
Hopefully they'll invite us back, and we'll get to go.
I don't know if you guys know, but Charles Manson was born here in Knott County, and there's a guy that goes around this area and goes like in abandoned buildings and does YouTube videos and stuff. I got him coming on. I'm going to ask him. He actually went to the building here in Knott County where Charles Manson grew up at.
Wow, that'd be interesting.
Now he was born in Cincinnati.
Snowman's got to make a pit stop.
Oh, he was born in Cincinnati. Oh yeah.
He was born in Cincinnati, and his mother traded him for a 6-pack of beer when he was 6 months old.
He grew up here in Knott County, though. He lived here for about 4 or 5 years, like in his younger. Yeah.
Yeah, his mom was a prostitute. So was his grandmother.
Wow. That's an insane. That's supposed to be haunted. That place is. His ghost is supposedly supposed to be there.
Really? Well, I want to go there then too.
It's very vandalized right now. The property's actually up for sale. The building's up for sale.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely.
He's pacing pretty bad. I wonder if he's got to go to the bathroom. He keeps going to the front door. Oh, we have to have a pee-pee break. Big guy's got to go to the potty.
Big already went. We won't big now.
Okay. Tell us what's going on for the upcoming podcast, and we'll wrap it up for your show, the Paranormal Trucker podcast on YouTube and Spotify and every platform.
I will tell you this that I know. Snowman and PT will be talking about the book that they've been following for the last several episodes. I'm not familiar with the name of the book and that, so when he comes back, we'll ask him that. But I am going to be, the next podcast, we're going to be going over tarot cards. I'm going to explain them, give a little history about them. And then I'm going to do a reading for PT. What is the book? Tell them about the book and that you're going to be talking about on our upcoming podcast.
It's the Insider Revealed, the Secret Space Force or Space Programs. And it's by Dr. Michael Sala. There's 6 books in the series. And he goes through, the first one was basically just about Corey Good and him being in the Secret Space Force. The second one was about William Tompkins that designed the ships for our Secret Space Force. The third book was the politics of Antarctica. No. And then I think the fourth book is about the Air Force. The fifth book is about the Chinese Secret Space Force. And then the 6th book is about the Space Force that was created by Donald Trump. So I've only went through 3 of them so far, and they're very interesting. Anybody that's kind of interested in that subject, they're worth listening to. If you have an Audible account, they give you a free credit every month. You can get the books for nothing and listen to them. So they're very interesting.
So that's what we're going to be talking about. Plus, hopefully, we'll get some emails.
Yes, yeah, we need emails.
We need some reader emails so we can talk about some different subjects.
We missed our last week's podcast. I was in the hospital all last week, and it's just it's been bad. It was a bad week last week, and it's been a bad week this week, and hopefully things are getting better. So
yes,
absolutely.
We've had about 4 weeks of bad luck.
Yes.
So hopefully this coming week, this weekend's already been better.
That's awesome. Definitely prayers that everything goes well. You guys start having better weeks and days.
Yeah, well, it's you go through life day by day.
It's already better.
It is better.
We're having this podcast.
Yes.
Absolutely. You guys will be doing a podcast Sunday as well. So you guys are going to be better Sunday too.
That's right.
Yeah. And like I said, we're just doing this for fun. If you like us,
hang out with us.
Yes, please. And hit the like button and hit the bell so you'll know when we put another one on. We're it's hard for us because PT works long hours and I work long hours, and I just don't get.
I don't.
I just don't. I don't. She does. She keeps this place spick and span. And but it's it's hard for us to get the time to do the research because time we get home and do the things we need to do at home and then just sit down and rest for 10 minutes. It's hard to get some research time in there. And I work on a computer a lot, and it's when I get home I don't see a computer, and that so it makes it a little tough. But I mean, we enjoy it. Now, if I was retired, yeah, watch out, it'd probably be bad. Because that's all I do, be research, finding stuff out to talk about.
Absolutely. Everybody should definitely check out the Paranormal podcast, the Paranormal Trucker podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, and Apple Podcasts, and every platform you can find podcasts. Definitely want to thank Large Marge and Stowman from the Paranormal Trucker podcast for being on. Definitely subscribe to their YouTube. Their link will be in the description to their channel. Y'all have a good night, and God bless.